talk about the new look Lakers since the trade deadline being 3-1. Victories against the Warriors, not once but twice, against the Pelicans, and we're going to talk about the loss, obviously. Don't want to be oblivious. We did lose to the Blazers in pretty embarrassing fashion. I'm assuming you guys want to hear me talk first about my Lakers, but to be honest, I kind of want to go last to really relish to hear what you guys have to say. So, Riv, we're going to start with you. Talk to me about my new look Lakers, please. Because not only did we hand your Warriors not one loss, but two. And one of those games, AD and LeBron didn't play.
Well.
So talk to me. No, both. Hey. One, they didn't play.
Okay. I'm glad you.
And the second, they didn't play well.
I'm glad you.
I'm glad
you brought that up because Steph obviously didn't play.
Of course.
And then Mike Canadian, my beloved King Canadian, he did not play for either.
He didn't.
So that's a tough blow. And this team cannot afford to lose injuries right now because our bench stinks. But nonetheless, you give credit. Lakers played great both of those games. They shot a ridiculous rate. Last game, 53% from the three-point line. Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah. It's like, no, they're still 13 shit. I'm not saying. Yeah, they're still,
Come on
they're still
now.
below us. But, really, the difference is just offense. Offense. They have new players that actually know how to play basketball, and they have new players that can hit shots, make shots, create shots for themselves. I mean, you just look at the new players coming in. It's bringing the other guys that were still here, bringing more energy for them to play better. And you mentioned it. LeBron and AD did not even play well last game, and the bench continued to produce. Malik Beasley is a bucket. I think everybody has pretty much known that throughout his career. He's one guy that can get you buckets. Vando's there. He's kind of the connector.
It's a glue guy, man.
Yeah, the perfect glue guy. Then you got Reeves here. I'm surprised Lonnie Walker hasn't gotten a lot of burn.
He seems to be the odd man out.
Yeah, it sucks that because he was playing really well this year. But this team just looks rejuvenated. Just that Portland loss was really odd. They just got their ass whooped. They started off bad, but still 3 games. The Pels, good win against the Warriors twice. Good win. You just love to see it with the Lakers because you made these additions in hopes to make a run. Now you're 3-1. I think you guys, to be a top seed, has to win like 16 games or something.
Now we got to go crazy.
We have to go crazy, and this is a great way to start. You got the Warriors coming up again, though, I believe.
I'll look at the schedule.
Yeah, I believe, or somebody tough. I don't know if it's the Warriors.
We play the Mavs today.
We play the Mavs tonight, so this will be another statement win because I believe Luka and Kyrie are playing. But you just love to see it with the offense. It's more creative. D'Lo did get hurt, so you haven't fully seen him yet.
First quarter,
but you're waiting to see him too. You got Bleezy, you got Vando, LeBron and AD have to continue to play at an amazing, ridiculous level for you guys to still be competitive. But the bench looks better, the starters look better, and that's what you wanted to see. Now you got to make a run. You're still 13 seed. You have to make a run.
You don't want to let that get lost.
No, yeah, let's not get lost.
Praise.
No, because this is shit. It was funny in the Discord the other day because the Lakers beat the Warriors, right? And I was like, and I said this shit 5 hours prior. I said we're probably gonna lose tonight, bad, right? So I literally told them we are. So the game happens. I'm watching the game like in spurts, and we're kind of close. And then they blow. So I was like, damn.
Third quarter.
Yeah, I was like third quarter. I was like, all right, fuck it, we lost, right? The Discord goes wild. Lake Show, we're winning a chip. Like, we're going crazy. Yeah. Oh my God, we're coming. It's lit. We can beat anybody in the series in the West. God. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it was one game. They was going crazy, but that's Lake Show for you.
3-1 since the trade deadline. It's not just one game.
They think they can beat anybody.
Run a fake heater. Go ahead, John.
So for the first time in 2 years, the Lakers have an actual team around LeBron James.
He's spitting.
And that's a great start here.
No, that's just a lot.
He's saying everything 100% correct.
Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt to be the last 2 starters. We talked about this a little bit after the trade deadline. Jared Vanderbilt is a phenomenal defensive player that makes a huge impact, even on offense, pushing the tempo. And he was a great plug-and-play fit, given how much you guys want to run. You then add in Beasley. He's a top 10, top 12 shooter in the league. The variable with the Lakers is Anthony Davis. When he was on the floor, he was an MVP candidate 3 months ago. He then has this navicular injury, and since then it's been very inconsistent with AD. We talk about when he's at his peak, he's a top 5 player, and that's true, but you need Anthony Davis to be the best version of himself if you guys are going to go anywhere this year. We've been talking about the Lakers now for, 3 months being the 13th seed, and at some point I have to ask what gives. With AD, you know that you have the potential to make it to the postseason, but the constant variable is him. There's no other variable on this team. And that's the fascinating thing. You got 22 games left. You're 28 and 32. You got 3.5 games out from Dallas, who's the 6th seed. And I look at the Mavericks. I mean, they haven't really figured things out. They're 3-3 after getting Kyrie. They still have more to learn themselves. And I think today you guys play. I mean, who in the Mavericks can guard AD? That's my other question.
Good question.
The theory of the Lakers is a contender this year.
JaVale. You were high on JaVale when we were talking about them.
Yeah.
Screaming.
It's a shame Maxi Cleaver isn't back, man.
Oh, yeah.
He probably did a great job.
Locked up
Davis.
AD, right? Oh, Reggie Bullock is here. No, good. Is this another one of your teams?
The Bulls could use Reggie Bullock.
I'm sure we could.
So when we ranked the Western Conference 2 weeks ago, the thing we talked about was all those contenders and the theory teams. We didn't even mention the Lakers in that discussion. But the more you see the output, how this team's played through a couple of games, the more you say to yourself, if Anthony can just get back to that 2020 level, close to it, like I'm talking 80%, you guys are in prime position to climb over the Jazz.
We always ask that.
Portland.
He just needs to be what he was.
These teams
early
stink
this
ahead
season.
of them. The Pelicans without Zion, like you should be climbing over all these teams. The T-Wolves as well. There's no reason the guys shouldn't be in the top 8 because while there's 13 teams trying, technically 12 now with Utah trying to make it to the playoffs, there's only, 2 real teams ahead of you, the Mavericks and the Warriors. The rest are mostly jokes. And the Thunder are young. Will come some slack. You guys should get ahead of the Thunder as well.
You're right. I mean, go ahead, Joel. Let me not get ahead of myself because I'm very antsy.
Portland's all right.
Portland's a joke.
They're all right.
They're not a joke.
win a play-in
They're
game.
not a joke.
That's a fact.
Now with no
Dame
Anthony
could win you,
Simons, I mean, they're a joke.
Okay, that's true.
that sucks. Yeah.
I keep forgetting. Yeah, I forgot Anthony's out.
If you're a Lakers fan, you gotta be excited. You gotta be happy. And what this trade deadline shows is basically they just did a do-over of the Westbrook trade, right? You trade Westbrook, you give away your key role players who are actually good basketball players. Not only do you trade away KCP and Kyle Kuzma, but because of that, you also let Alex Caruso walk, right? So you have all of these guys that were a key contributor to your championship team in the bubble. Now you go out and you try to find that third star in Westbrook. And obviously, when the trade happened, it wasn't a good fit. As it played out, we knew it wasn't going to be a good fit. I mean, even this offseason with the talk with Russell Westbrook, playing defense, coming off the bench, hitting corner threes, whatever it was, right? There was some hope and some optimism around it. But Westbrook, there's always going to be highs and lows. And even we're going to talk about the Clippers game in a couple segments. Same thing. You're always going to have highs and lows with Westbrook where he could win you a game coming off the bench, be efficient, shoot, score 20 points, play make, but then also have games where he's 2 for 13, has 5 turnovers, and he's almost unplayable and unwatchable if you're a Lakers fan or if you're Darvin Ham and trying to put a rotation together. But back to the Lakers' current roster, this is what LeBron needs, right? I mean, LeBron... Whenever you go back throughout history, he has that second co-star, whether it's Kyrie, D. Wade, Anthony Davis now. He has a second co-star. Now he has playmakers, shooters, and defenders around him. And that's really what this team has needed. We've been saying it for basically over a year now, ever since that Westbrook trade happened. And that's exactly what they have. We talked about getting Vando and Beasley and these shooters. And although Lonnie Walker does seem like the odd man out, he's still going to be able to come in and shoot the basketball, right? He's still one of the better three-point shooters on this team. He's going to have, I think, some sort of role, whether it's injuries or just getting hot at some point, because he does seem interchangeable with some other guys on this roster. But I do think it's important to note that while it's exciting, the Lakers are playing well, these wins are against the Pelicans, who were on a 10-plus game losing streak, right? At one point, yes, but regardless, it was not far behind when you guys just beat them. And then the Warriors without Steph Curry on the road, without Andrew Wiggins. So today's going to be the biggest test. You're going up against the Dallas Mavericks, as John mentioned, 3-3 since the Kyrie trade. So it's not like they're on this crazy push where they figured it out and they've been on fire. And it's also not like they're on this 6-game losing streak with Kyrie and nothing's going on. So I think it's a perfect test for you guys. You're going up against a team who is obviously ahead of you. Probably not going to see them in the first round. They'll probably be in the middle of the Western Conference in terms of seeding, but it's going to be a big test because this is a playoff team. This is a competitive team. They have stars, and it's not just some weird Warriors injured team or Pelicans wouldn't be one of the worst teams in basketball in February, right? So I think today's game is going to be the true test to see what this Lakers team is and this last, month and a half of the season, what they can become.
So, Riv, you keep mentioning to me how the Lakers are a 13th seed. Right, and you're 100% correct. We are the 13th seed. But I say this very confidently. If the Lakers make the playoffs, what does that mean to me, Riv? You know what that means to me? That we're one of the hottest teams in the association.
What the hell are you just pointing me out?
Oh, because you like to laugh at us.
We say 13th seed all the time.
John gives us some respect at the minimum, even though he likes to crack a little bit of jokes. He's starting to see the light.
I saw the light first, did I not?
You're the 13th seed. You're the 13th
Bro,
seed.
just before
You're
the
closer
show
to
started-
15 than you are to 10.
That was ridiculous.
I don't want to hear you.
I remember I was calling y'all good, though, prior to this before, and everybody was laughing at you. Remember? I was like, I've been peeping. Stop.
All right.
Thank you.
That you
Thank
get
you,
a little
Drew.
bit of respect.
Thank you, Drew.
I'm not going to
I'll
lie
peep.
on his name.
When we had P and OG on the show, you were not spitting.
Oh, there was not a single person here that was no.
That's a fact.
Don't
We
even
have
do
I
that.
was calling you guys
after that.
competitive.
No, that's a
It
fact.
was a 6v1.
That's a fact.
It was a 6v1
Because
calling you guys competitive.
he had to take that to the chin on his own. He had to do that. But I was telling him prior to that, I was like, I've been watching Lakers. They're not as bad as people think. I was telling him
the shit that really was pissing me off about that before I go into my tangent was that they like to shit on the 3-point guard lineup. When in reality, when AD was out, what was getting us by was that 3-guard lineup of the Schroeder, the Bev, the Russ. That 3 right there was getting us wins or putting us close to being in games to win the game. So that's the only thing I didn't appreciate. Is like, obviously you can hate on it because we lack size there, but that with LeBron, with the interchangeable of Thomas Bryant, Lonnie, it didn't matter. It's like we were in games because of obviously LeBron playing at an insane level, but those 3 guys holding it down. So yes, like I was saying, if we make the playoffs, that means that we are one of the hottest teams in the association. And if we make the playoffs being one of the hottest teams in the league, that means that we can actually contend. And I mean that very confidently because right now we're not in a great position. We're 28-32, no doubt about it. But it's not too late to turn things around. We just need to go and be over 500 in these span of 22 games. I believe we have to go 17-5.
You also have to hope others lose.
Which, luckily enough,
They go 17-5.
with the schedule that we face,
45 wins gets you one.
a lot of these teams we go against in the next 4 games. So we play against the Mavericks, who are the 6th seed. Then we play the Grizzlies, who are still one of the top 3 seeds. That's not an issue that's not a thought for us right now. We need to be facing those 6 to 12 teams. Then the Thunder, who are I believe they're 11th. Then we play the Timberwolves, who are 8th. Then we play the Warriors again. Then the Grizzlies. So it's like in these 6 games right here, we can cover a lot of ground. And our schedule isn't horrible after that. We play the Raptors, the Knicks, who have been playing really good basketball, but we did beat them in the Garden. I was there for that. Shout out. That was lit. Then we play the Pelicans, the Rocket, and the Mavericks again, and the Magic. Our schedule is not horrible. Seeing the Grizzlies twice is not ideal.
We even get the Bulls twice, too, in March.
I tell you what, the schedule that we have is really not horrible. We play the Suns with KD. That'll be not the best, but it'll be a test for us because we play really good teams really well. I gave you time to speak.
No, just
I gave you. Oh, you're gonna talk to John? Okay.
this guy. You didn't hear the shot.
Of course I heard it, but we're talking about the Lakers.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
I was
We're
in
talking about the
my
Lakers.
brain counting up how many rings his teams has combined, and I can't find a number.
No, I understand. I understand.
Boggling
Your
my mind.
your
A
team
little bit harder when you
accumulated them
jump
all
back and
in
forth, right?
8 years.
Huh?
The Bulls acquired all your championships in 8 years.
Lit.
If not for Jordan, you guys would probably be.
How long has Denver been here? 40?
Okay, see? Denver, yeah, no, a good amount of time also. Good amount of time.
It's not ideal.
They're due.
So
They're due for what?
A championship this year.
You think so?
One of John's teams.
One, right?
he thought he had it in 2021. He thought.
He thought.
He thought.
Giannis.
And then Giannis dropped the
Very
50 ball in
close.
Game 6. So what's exciting about this team is now we have a little bit more of leniency, who we can lean on, right? So AD and LeBron have been, since the trade deadline, not the most available, not the most consistent. LeBron missed those first 2 games against the Blazers and against the Warriors. Against the Warriors, we were able to hold it down. And this 3-1 stretch has been where AD has only played well in one of those games. Against the Blazers, he was not that good. I understand he had 19 and 20. The stat line looks decent, but he really was not that effective, did not look as aggressive, has not looked aggressive against the Warriors in either game. The only game that he looked really aggressive was against the Pelicans, and that probably was a personal thing, understanding he's going back to his original spot. And that also may be true, where Draymond does impact Anthony Davis's game to a degree. But if that's the case, then why aren't you guys winning games, right? Why won't you guys beat us? If such an impact, why it's not as big of an impact is because we actually have a foundation around Anthony Davis now.
We're also the
we have a
28th ranked
foundation
offense with Steph
around,
off the court.
no doubt, you guys' offense is poopy. And that guy Jordan Poole, yikes.
That happens.
So now we have Malik Beasley who can shoot. D'Lo who got hurt in the first quarter, and that didn't matter against the Warriors. We still were able to come out with the win. Austin Reeves, who's still a decent shooter, I said it last time. He is more talented than people give him credit for. Obviously, I want that to be taken with a grain of salt. I'm not saying he's one of the most underrated talents in the league. I just say with the ball in his hands, he doesn't play that Caruso role because he's a little bit more offensively talented than Caruso is, so it allows him a little bit more freedom on that end. And then, of course, you spoke about it already. Jared Vanderbilt and what he's able to do for us defensively. Anthony Davis now has a buddy that he can rely on defensively night in, night out to hold down the fort with him. And then out in transition, we continue to be one of the better teams out in transition. It's just exciting for the Lakers to see that. I haven't seen the Lakers win have a lead of 20 points in some time.
while.
And we did it in consecutive games against the Pelicans and the Warriors. Our three-point shooting, that is what I'm most happy about because we have lacked it for a season and a half. And for us to shoot 53% against the Warriors, a defensive team that is still pretty solid. Of course, Curry's not there, so that offensive presence is not nearly the same and will never reach that without Steph Curry. But at the minimum, what we can take away from this is we're shooting the ball better. We're still getting out in transition, which was something that I wanted us to keep consistent prior to the deadline. And defensively, we're starting to be a little bit more focused. We need to continue to keep this focus for the entirety of the season because we could gain a lot of traction very soon. We're only a game out of the play-in, a game and a half out of being locked into the play-in and having a little bit of security. But that's also pretty tough because obviously you understand the West is a crapshoot. But John alluded to it as well. There's no reason why we should not be ahead of the Blazers. No reason why we shouldn't be ahead of the Thunder. No reason why we shouldn't be ahead of the Jazz, who just traded a ton of their assets. No reason why, especially not knowing the severity or the timetable of
He might
Curry.
be back in a week.
That's the hope. But you need him to be back in a week because then things start to get ugly and then you guys become us.